Good evening, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news this late Wednesday night. And the media and Democrats are absolutely in full panic mode with 1 week to the election. They've done everything they could in order to try to derail these races that are going against them, even to the point where they're trying to blame the attacker of Nancy Pelosi as in paint him as some right-wing, extremist Republican Trump supporter. When we know the evidence doesn't show that at all, it more than likely paint him as a lunatic leftist who was making a house call to the HUD to Pelosi, his husband who likes to get hammered. Right. Anyway, the mainstream media out there and MSNBC is ringing the alarm bells for the Democrat Party. They know what is coming, they know the selecting they're going to be receiving here in a week, and they're coping as much as they can. So in this video here, as MSNBC points out, they are freaking out because every issue that is important to American voters does not line up with what's important with the Democrat Party, which is of course it's abortion, and everything else, child transitions and stuff like that. People don't care about that as much as they care about their wallet. So let's go and take a look what we have here. Coming to us from Red Voice Media. It says this here, it says NBC election guru breaks down why Democrats are poised to get sacked this November. Yeah, it does not look good for them at all. Everyone listen to this. Gallup. They ask folks the issues they consider the most important, very important, and you see the economy tops in abortion, second crime, gun policy, immigration. Then you ask folks who say these are the most important issues to them how they intend to vote. And I think this is interesting, too, because look at this, on all but one of these topics, Republicans have an advantage. And on 3 of them, the economy, crime, immigration, Republicans have massive advantages over Democrats. So when you look at this issue set, you look at how these voters are breaking along these issues. You see what looks like a significant Republican advantage. But again, you go back to that generic ballot. And this is not right now looking like a runaway in the polls for Republicans. Crime has been the sleeper issue when I go out and talk to voters in some of these states. You know, it's not scientific, but it's just one of those things that keeps coming up that I feel like maybe we missed in some of our conversations. Their generic polls show that, the American people see it and they know what's going on. They see how these people are cheering on the Democrat Party with their issues, that they want to ignore how much people are paying with everything. Instead, they want to try to focus and shift it onto other things, which isn't going to work. January 6th is a complete disaster for the Democrats as they continue to try to pull back to that in some areas. That's not working for them. And of course, the abortion issue is not working for them. Nothing is working for them. They are going to be heading into an absolute red tsunami and they're coping as best they can. And then this is some big news. There's a new bombshell that just dropped that spells disaster for the Democrats in the midterms. We're going to see the poll that has Democrats absolutely panicking today. We're going to see how that poll has completely decimated their central strategy for the midterms. And we're going to see how and why all indicators are shifting decisively towards the Republicans. You're not going to want to miss this. The Wall Street Journal just dropped a real bombshell on the upcoming midterms that may indeed have blown up the Democrats for good. We've been talking now for the last week or so on our videos on how all voting indicators have been moving massively over to the GOP. I mean, for heaven's sakes, even MSNBC is recognizing that we're looking at nothing less than a bloodbath 1 week from today. Well, that prediction was made before this bomb dropped from the Wall Street Journal. So if an MSNBC was panicking over the weekend, they might as well start building their bunkers as of today. According to the latest Wall Street Journal poll, white suburban women, historically a solid Democrat voting bloc, have officially swung over to the Republicans by a total of 26 points. White suburban women are now favoring the Republicans by a total of 15 points. It's a 26-point swing from the last time the Journal took the poll in August. This is gigantic. This is beyond cataclysmic for the Democrats. You've got to let this hit you. This poll is utterly devastating to the Democrats' strategy of trying to make the fall of Roe v. Wade central to their Get Out the Vote campaign. The fall of Roe was supposed to turn out white suburban women, in unheard of unprecedented numbers that were going to crush the GOP his hopes for the Senate. And for the House. The overturning of Roe was supposed to be the most cataclysmic event in the history of human rights that would in turn galvanize white suburban women to vote overwhelmingly for the champions of choice. That's what we heard over and over again, from the lamestream media all throughout the summer in the fall. The fall of Rome means the fall of the GOP. And now all of those woke leftist hopes have come crashing down those voters. Those very white suburban women are coming out in record numbers, indeed. But they're voting overwhelmingly Republican. And why? Well, because of the way the Democrats have totally screwed up the economy. That's why these women are sick of record inflation. They're sick of being told that a recession isn't a recession. They're sick of stagflation. They're sick of the baby formula shortage. They're sick of the pain at the pump. And most especially, they're sick of being told by Democrats that none of that matters. None of those concerns are valid. What matters is Roe. What matters is J6. What matters? Democracy is at stake. Haven't you been listening to Liz Cheney? What's the matter with you? Haven't you been transfixed by these J6 hearings? So white suburban women, who were the driving force for the Democrats' wins in 2018-2020, are walking away. They've had it. And this mass defection is explaining precisely why the polls are now shifting dramatically over to the Republicans, waiting to see the poll results coming out as of today. But first, since you know today is our 6-year anniversary. That's right, gang. This channel was started 6 years ago today, and I cannot believe that we're just days away from hitting the golden 1 million subscriber mark. It's beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And it's all because of you. You, every one of you, are part of that million MAGA army that's changing the world in ways we never even imagined. And we're going to have the big celebration around here in the days ahead as we pass that million subscriber milestone. Alright folks, this extraordinary defection among white suburban women is causing the electoral map as of today to shift massively in our favor. In the RCP House projection map, 5 of the last 6 toss-up races have shifted solidly in favor of the GOP candidates just over the last 48 hours. In Arizona, we're seeing yet another 11-point lead for Kari Lake in the gubernatorial election. There we now have 2 polls back-to-back just in a few days of each other showing the 11-point lead over her scaredy cat Democrat challenger Katie Hobbs. We're also seeing a tie between Blake Masters and Mark Kelly for the Senate race. Of course, Masters has been surging of late, and on top of that, Masters just got a huge boost today with the Libertarian candidate dropping out of the race and endorsing Masters. And that may be all that's needed to finally put a fork in the Democrat Mark Kelly's campaign in Nevada. The latest Fogra poll, as Republican Adam Laxalt stealing the Senate seat from their incumbent Democrat Catherine Cortez Masto. And the Republican Lombardo is winning in the governor's race as well. We talked yesterday about all the polls showing Herschel Walker began to break away in the Georgia Senate race, as well as the last 4 consecutive polls in a row showing Dr. Oz in the lead in Pennsylvania. But something frankly embarrassing happened to John Fetterman over the last 24 hours. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, which is reportedly John Fetterman's home newspaper, has just endorsed Dr. Oz. This is crazy. They've endorsed the Republican in the Senate race because they're admitting what we all know: Fetterman is an absolute disaster, and the closely watched New York gubernatorial race. Republican Liz Zeldin has officially taken the lead over the odious, obnoxiously leftist Kathy Hochul in Minnesota. I know many of you have been asking during the Q&A live Q&A as we have on Monday night about Minnesota's governor's race. And I've been so hesitant to give you any hope because Minnesota so often disappointed, but lo and behold, the Republican Scott Jensen has taken the lead over the incumbent Democrat Tim Walz. Trafalgar has a net 4,645 and a razor close race, but Jensen has been surging of late. At the same time, their ultra-leftist Attorney General Keith Ellison is losing his Republican challenger. So we're on the cusp of a possible Republican revolution in Minnesota. In Wisconsin, the Republican challenger Tim Michels has surged ahead of their ultra-leftist Democrat incumbent Governor Tony Evers, while the ultra-MAGA Senator Ron Johnson looks like he's going to cruise to re-election. And if you can believe it, even in ultra-leftist New Mexico, the Republican Mark Ronchetti is within 2 points of knocking out the incumbent Democrat Kevin. Are you seeing the pattern here, gang? You see, everything is breaking towards the Republicans, even in blue Oregon right now. Now, of course, we can't be complacent here. There is no shortage of shenanigans that they're gonna try to pull. We've got to be vigilant. We've got to be volunteering at our local precincts to make sure we have patriot eyes on every single vote being counted. Remember, a patriot is not a spectator sport. Being a patriot is not a spectator sport. Being a patriot means participation. We've got to be in the game. But if we're all doing that for all faithful on our end, we do appear to be on the cusp of something utterly historic. And it seems as though Donald Trump is back. I think a lot of people can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what I got for you guys though. Thanks for watching.